You did that for, I think it was about a year.
Yeah.
Before Runaway June in its original combination debuted. You, Hannah Mulholland, Naomi Cook. I can't remember if I knew this back then, but Caroline actually co-wrote your debut single Lipstick with Runaway June.
Yeah. Well, so Caroline and I, we did Amazing Race together, and then we worked at the record label together. And we were kind of thinking, I told you at the time, we were like, well, what do we do now? We got dropped. And so we were kind of thinking about starting a band together again. We were like, well, we'll just do it, the two of us then, And so we had written a bunch of songs, and we were actually called My Darling June.
Oh,
and
no
so
kidding.
it was like kind of like it was Runaway June, but it wasn't. But it was the start of that music and the start of going, hey, maybe we should do this again. And then the Benny Brown, who owned Broken Bow at the time, he was interested in us and the songs, but he didn't think that there was a lead singer. And he was like, hey, I know this girl named Naomi, and she would be great. And I want you guys to start writing with each other. And so we did. We started writing together, and Caroline was like, you know what? Actually, this isn't what I want to do. I love music, but I really want to, she wanted to start her own podcast and do the television side. And so it wasn't Runaway June yet, but it was kind of Runaway June, we called ourselves My Darling June. And then, so Naomi and I kept writing, and I knew Hannah, and I knew that Benny was kind of interested in a trio, and I'd been in a trio before and loved the 3-part harmony. And so I brought Hannah in, and the three of us then started writing, and that's how we became a band. And Benny kind of, he signed us on the spot when we went in and played all of the songs. But I think in his mind, he was thinking, oh, a trio would be cool. There hasn't been a trio in a long time, And so that's kind of how it started.
Even given the struggle that women have had, I mean, the record labels know this. So that says a lot about what Benny thought about you and your talents, that he would want to sign you guys.
Well, yeah, because back then everyone was like, wow, you're crazy to sign, not just one, but 3 females. But I had known him a long time. My publishing deal at the time, my publishing house was next door to Broken Bow, the records, and I would always come in and play him songs. And he knew me as a songwriter too. So I think he really loved Naomi's voice. He knew I was a good songwriter. I was going to say great, but good.
You can say great. That's okay.
Great. I feel like I'm great now.
I feel like you are too.
Thank you. But then, I saw I was good. But, and then Hannah being a trio, I think it was kind of a combination of, he thought, hey, that's a lane that nobody has, a trio. And he loved Naomi's voice, and he liked my song. So it was kind of a, good combination.
So a few years goes by, Hannah decides to leave the group. That's when your blast from the past, Natalie Stovall, steps in. What did that conversation look like when you called her?
Well, it was so funny because she, like I said, she was the first person I thought of. And when I told Naomi, Naomi was like, oh my gosh, absolutely. She's awesome. And, everyone in Nashville, we all knew her, and we just couldn't believe that she hadn't gotten another record deal, And she was still doing her own thing, but a lot of her shows got canceled because of COVID. And she was kind of living, in the live world. She was playing a lot of live shows. And so kind of her income and everything was scary at the time because everything got taken away. All the shows got taken away. So I remember I called her, and she said, gosh, what, it's like an incredible ask. And she said, I can't imagine myself saying yes, and I can't imagine myself saying no. And I get it, because she was going to have to kind of give up her solo thing. And so she didn't want to do that. But at the same time, she really, too. Yeah, she had a band. But at the same time, there were no shows for them, and it wasn't really possible to be a band. And she knew that being in Runaway June would, give her the opportunity to be signed and put out songs to radio and stuff, which she wanted to do. So she said yes.
A few more years go by. Naomi decides that she wants to go solo. And you bring on Stevie Woodward. How did you find her?
So Kip Moore, who's a mutual friend of ours, he had told me about her a few years back. And he just said, this girl's amazing. You have to write with her. I think she's like the most talented person in Nashville, signed, unsigned. So I had written with her, and she's an incredible guitar player, incredible singer, songwriter. Actually, she plays every instrument. And so, so same thing. She was the first person I thought of. And then, Natalie started stalking her on Instagram and she was like, she's amazing. And so we asked her to join the band and she said the same thing. She was like, oh my gosh, how could I say no to this? And so she joined the band.